listening to the Created to Create show.
Welcome back to another episode of Created to Create. Welcome back to another Monday. Welcome back to another week of life. This is Creative Flow. I'm your host, Ben Gluntz, and that's what we're basically trying to do. We're just getting in the creative flow, learning lessons, everything. So I was scrolling on Instagram the other day, and I saw this video that my friend Alaina posted, and she was essentially talking about how having fun in her life is her competitive advantage. It's just videos of her dancing and giggling and hanging out with friends and going on shoots and stuff. She's a photographer and a director here in Los Angeles. And it was just really cool to watch, really fun to watch. And it reminded me how I have the same mantra in life. And I didn't necessarily word it the same exact way, but it reminded me of how fun life actually is and how life and business and our goals should be mixed. They shouldn't be separate necessarily. Now, obviously, everything kind of looks different. Fun can look different in, different settings and environments, but fun should be at the forefront. And it was really cool how she reminded me of that. But that's what I want to talk about today is just how to balance fun and the idea of being successful, especially as a creative. Obviously, as creatives, we try to mingle the two as much as we can, but we can get super stressed out with, what business looks like if we're trying to make our creative, outlet a career. And it can just be really tough sometimes to think through, how can I have fun if I'm in a client meeting? How can I have fun if I'm the lowest guy on the totem pole on a production? How can I have fun when I have a client breathing down my neck or always hitting me up and not giving me space to create? How can I have fun when, I want to create at a certain level, but I'm not quite there yet? And I'm stressing out because I'm wanting to learn all these skills, but I'm not necessarily, I'm not getting better. I'm not like progressing forward, or it doesn't feel like I'm progressing forward. The idea of work hard, play hard, like work really hard so that you can then go take time off and play hard. Personally, I think that's a little bit outdated of an idea, the whole grind and hustle mindset. There are times when I do need to sit down and make sure I get all of my work done. But to me, life is more fulfilling when you try to marry the two and try to balance the two as much as possible. It's the small things, the in-between moments, that really build you up and that you can take joy in. But anyway, I want to get Alaina in on the conversation for honestly no other reason than the fact that it's going to be more fun to talk to her about this than just me sit here and talk to you guys. So let's get her on the phone and see what she has to say.
Hello.
Alaina, what's up?
What's going on?
I'm just sitting here on my podcast. I'm recording, so I hope you're okay with that.
Hey, podcast.
I wanted to give you a call really quick because, one, I saw your post the other day about having fun and how it's like your competitive advantage. And I don't know, it just inspired me to start thinking about that a lot more. And I wanted to chat a little bit. And I wanted to bring you in on the conversation as well, because I know you have a lot to say about it. And, also just think it'd be fun.
Oh my gosh, I'm super down. I'm honored to be thought of. Yes, I love talking about fun. I love fun.
Where are you at in the world right now?
I am in a hotel in New York.
Of course. I wouldn't expect anything less.
I have quite the week planned. I have 2 shoots here, but I'm going to a sound bath tomorrow, and I'm hanging out with some friends. So perfect mix of work and play.
I love it. I mean, you're so good at it. And I think it's something I've always noticed about you is you can kind of take any scenario and make it fun. That's like a very specific gift that you have. I remember like a couple years ago, we were working this little job together where we were going around Santa Monica Pier and we were interviewing people. And it had like all the bones to be just kind of like a mundane type shoot, like, just going, interviewing people, getting the answers you need, and then going home. But I just remember specifically how fun it was because of the energy that you carried with you and the way that you interviewed the people and just chatted with like chatted about their stories. I remember meeting this girl. I forget where she was from. I think somewhere in Eastern Europe.
Talking about.
Yeah. But anyway, I just remember it being super fun. And obviously, like, how you do the work that you do is so talented as well. But I think the way that you do it and the way that you operate makes what you do so special. And I don't know, I just want to get your take on that, because you obviously are self-aware of that now, and you kind of are talking about it a little bit. Was that always the way that you were and the way that you operate, or is that something that you've had to really push yourself to do more?
Good question. I actually think it's the opposite. It's like I actually never had to push myself to do it more, but at the beginning of my career, I was hiding it a little bit more.
Really?
Out of like, oh, I like need to be more professional, or I need to be very polished. And then as I've like gone throughout my career, I actually have realized like the more I can be like a fun friend to somebody on set or at a wedding or like through whatever I'm shooting, like that makes the experience so much better for all of us, because then I get to have fun, they have fun, they're comfortable. I think a lot of my directing style is actually like, how can I just create the kind of environment to elicit the kind of emotion that I need out of you for the piece, instead of like finding some weird way to communicate it with you. Like, why don't I just make it whatever environment we need? And that's usually fun, upbeat, inspiring, motivational.
Do you find yourself just gravitating towards those types of jobs now, or do you have it, like, is it kind of your personal mission to just make any job that comes to you that environment?
It's my mission. I think that I find a lot of people that naturally fit with that. Like, I attract people that are like, oh, I like want this is the kind of energy that like she will bring to that project. So like that's why they'll bring me on in the first place. But even if I work really closely with someone who is a very serious man, and sometimes I'm kind of like, okay, like how is this going to land with you? And I think the cool thing about like working with different people is if you're confident in who you are, and I'm confident that I am a like intense, bubbly, excited, fun girl, it's usually respected by someone, even if they're different from you, you know? And I don't have to shape shift myself into being more serious or polished or not as fun, because like then they'll actually recognize that it's not authentic, and then like we'll get nowhere, you know?
That's such an interesting concept. I feel like, because most people, like you were saying early on in your career, they feel that pressure to be professional because they think if I'm not professional, then nothing can get done.
Yeah.
But you're saying it's the opposite, at least for you.
To me, it's the opposite. Yeah. I think like especially when I started first doing weddings, like there's a part of like the wedding day that I hang back. I do not get in the way. I do not say I say like maybe couple words, because I'm very very doc style. I think most of us are that shoot weddings.
I'd agree.
Like, you just don't want to interrupt the flow of the day, and you kind of know your place. But I always say that like I don't really do any marketing for it. Like I just jump. My marketing strategy for weddings is like jumping on the dance floor, having a drink, and throwing down with the couple at the end of the day. Because then they're leaving being like, dude, your videographer, the coolest,
the best
ever. I want to hire her. You know.
Yeah.
So it's just like being a friend, and you know, it takes trial and error. Like, you want to make sure that lands well with people, and you don't do it for every wedding or every client, but like the people, the best clients, like my clients, people that I'm supposed to shoot for, like they love it, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's so much there. I think the first thing is just to agree with you, because one, I've come to the realization as well that I don't necessarily want to work with all of the big brands and the biggest people and celebrities anymore. You know, the biggest like eye-catching projects, I want to work with the most genuine people. And I've had relationships that start out like really professional, and then I find out I get to know the person a little bit on a personal level, and then it becomes, you know, just the best relationship. And I found that those are worth it more to me, because then it makes the whole process better. It almost doesn't matter what we're working on at that point.
Yeah. It's like not really about the product or service. It's like who you are and the energy that you bring to a project, and like the like business is so much more emotional than I think that we want to admit or realize. Like, it's not about the product, it's kind of about the spirit of the deal. And it's the energy of which like two people are showing up with, because if you have the right energy and you have the right spirit, like the right solution will come.
Right.
If you're not like obsessing over the wrong things, which if you're the kind of person that values the spirit of a deal, you probably aren't,
Right. Yeah,
So,
most definitely.
I agree.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you just said. I think the other thing I was going to hit on too is, well, what's interesting to me, I guess, is you mentioned how your tactic for business is having fun, right? Like that's like your marketing tactic. And I guess my question to you then is, how do you find the balance of having fun and also like wasting time, if that makes sense? Because a lot of people kind of sit in this boat and they're like, okay, you're working and then you're playing. Like you work hard and you play hard. And we're talking about the concept of marrying the two and finding that balance. And so, how do you know when to have fun and when that's going to help you versus when it's going to hurt you?
Good question. Well, first, I don't really separate work and play, I think, in the traditional sense. I see it all as just my life. I will operate with intensity at whatever I do. Sometimes I get paid for it. Other times I pay for it. Like, it's very much like just all of my life experience. I don't like to separate it because I enjoy all of it. Or, obviously there's parts of your job that you're not going to enjoy, but like, at the end of the day, big picture, like I really do enjoy all of it. You and I have actually talked about like the New York versus LA mentality. We have. Sometimes I feel like people are like, you have a New York attitude because like you work. And I'm like, I get down. Like I will work. Yeah. But
nobody in LA ever does anything.
Like sometimes I'm just kind of like, okay, but pedal to the metal, let's go. And I think that is maybe tying back into the question, like, I just have such an intensity about everything that I don't do one thing less than the other consistently. Like I choose which parts of my life I want to be intense about at certain times. And there's naturally, like, I think also maybe I naturally accept the suck. Like there's going to be parts of like my job and life equally, again, because like why separate them? Like there's just going to be negative experience in all of them. And I think that like a lot of creative people, they just obsess over like the fun parts. And I'm like, no. Like it's not always like fun. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going with this, but I think at the end of the day, like there just like are inevitable times that you have to lock in. But I know that I'm not okay and I'm not creatively fulfilled unless I have like novelty, fun, and things that are going to fill my cup up. And also like something that I was told when I was in college was like, one of my friends was like, I never put a time limit on people. And that stuck with me so much that I was like, if there's ever kind of like I should lean into this moment with this person, like I never deny it. I never am like, I should really get back and work. Like honestly, like I would rather eat into my sleep hours and go back and do the work and like limit my time with this person where it feels like, oh, we're being spontaneous and we're enjoying the world. Like I promise more good is going to come out of that than me going and doing my work right now,
Oh yeah, 100%. Yesterday I had this issue actually because I was up in LA and I had a shoot in the morning and then I had a concert to go to at night for a friend, and I had about like 5 or 6 hours to get some work done. And we end up going to like the co-working spot that we go to sometimes. And I saw you there. And it was like you and like a few other people. And like, I'm like, I need to get these things done. But at the same time, we were having so much fun. And I was like trying to stay in the moment because I kind of live by the same mantra. I never really heard it said that way. So that's going to stick with me now too. But I always try to like stay in the moment with people as much as I can too. But I had this moment where I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to get these things done before the concert and I need to lock in. And so I just like, I was like, hey guys, I'm going to work. I'm actually going to work now. But that like hurt me so bad because I wanted to stay in the moment. And I think what you're saying is so important as well, because I knew in that moment, I was like, man, this conversation and this time with these people is so important to me. And I would much rather stay here. But then the other part of what you were saying, you know, hey, sometimes you just got to like stick yourself in the suck and work through it. Mm-hmm. That was also there. And, you know, like that. So that like won the battle yesterday. But it's like such a tough decision because I knew in the long run, you know, the people mattered the most.
Yeah. Yeah, I find so much value in like being Lighthouse is a great example. Like I go there and sometimes I'm just like, I just talk to people all day and like I didn't get any work done. And like I think that I've developed more comfort, like even in my 20s versus like in college, I would always crave this like empty to-do list. And I would always be like, one day I'm gonna have nothing on there. And it's like that's such a myth.
That'll never happen.
Like such a myth. And I just become more comfortable with being like, oh, it didn't get done today. And that's okay. Like no one's pounding at my door being like, where is it? You know?
Right.
Like it's gonna get done, and I'm gonna keep like I love like chop wood, carry water, like just get up and do the work.
Yep.
And it's gonna get done. But like this was really important to me today. But yeah, like sometimes I think also like I notice that a lot of people are very much locked into like one or the other, or they don't let their like identity kind of like people know about me that I work really, really hard. And so then when I need to work really, really hard, they let that part of my identity like exist.
Yep.
But I feel like people also know about me, like that I have a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. So then when like that part of me is like open, then people also respect that part of me.
Yeah.
So I'm like grateful to kind of have built that persona around me of like, you guys know that I do both, you know?
Right. Well, you're just you're living in the balance, and it's not perfect, but you're feeding into that as much as possible. And I like that you said you give intensity to all of it, because they both need the intensity, right? Like your work needs to get done and the people need to be cared for and loved. And so you got to do both. And if you let one slack, then you eventually let the other one slack too.
Totally.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. I want to mention this really quick. You said something about chopping water, carrying wood. And I just want to know, like, when it comes to having fun, do you view the hard work, the suck, as you said, do you view that as painful, or have you found ways to even make that fun as well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The first thing that comes to mind is actually the 10,000 hours rule.
Okay.
Like how it takes you 10,000 hours to become an expert at anything.
Yeah.
And when I have like the suck, I never look at it as like, oh my God, that sucked and I hate this. Like, I'm always just like, oh, nice. Like, just 8 more of my 10,000 hours. Like, oh, today's 8 was like a little bit more adversity, or like a little bit harder, a little bit more of a challenge. Like, what a valuable 8 that I just had. So I think that like, I always am thinking about how it contributes to the long term and the big picture, because why I've gotten better as an artist and a creative is because I've had a bunch of shitty 8s. And like, because of the days that like we had a really terrible shoot, and it's just built me a much better creative than if everything was just like fun and games. So when things like aren't fun, I always think like don't waste this. Like adversity is a terrible thing to waste. Right. Adversity is actually so contributional to like an overall fun career, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the more adversity you have, the more fun you have almost, because it's
Yeah.
making you stronger. I think, I don't know why,
Yeah.
but I keep bringing up my running journey in this podcast, and people are probably getting super tired of it. But like,
I've heard you talk about it a couple times. I enjoy it. Keep it up.
Oh, well, thank you, Alaina. Well, it's becoming more enjoyable for me too, and I'm not necessarily going to become this like crazy ultra marathon runner. Who knows? Maybe, but I do know that when I first started running, it just sucked. There was no fun in it. It was complete adversity. I hated going outside. I hated putting on my shoes. I hated running. And there are ways that I made it more fun, listening to music or podcasts, the ways that I could get through it. But as I've progressed through that journey, now I enjoy the run. And because my heart is healthier, because I've gone through the pain, my body can handle more. And so it makes what used to be absolute hell, kind of a walk in the park now. And I can enjoy the surroundings a little bit more, and I can enjoy the journey of running rather than just being like, oh my gosh, I've gone 0.5 miles and I feel like I've gone 10.
Yeah. And that stamina transfers. Like,
it does. Yeah.
I think it is the most riveting feeling to watch your creative stamina go up and to be like, this would have rattled me 2 years ago. And now it's no worries because I've done this, and like, I've messed up enough times to know how to fix this quickly. Yeah. And that is the most fulfilling thing in the world, I think, to watch yourself get better at not even like your craft, but problem solving so that you can get to your craft. Because like we do not, you don't get to be creative before you like work through some of the muck. Like everybody had to like problem solve their first video that they made. Like I was using GoPro like editor, and like the editor on GoPro crashed like every hour, like I know how to do
you have to make sure
like,
you save it every 5 seconds so that you can actually come back to it.
Yeah, like I was like recording it on my iPhone so that I could like recreate it once it crashed because I knew it was going to crash.
Oh my gosh.
So it's just like, okay, you're a problem solver first, creative second. You have to get through the shit to like actually have fun and be able to make art, Yep. So watching yourself like grow stamina to deal with that problem solving, I think is like such a gratifying feeling as you progress through your career.
I feel like that, like you were saying gratifying, I feel like you could also use the word fun there too. It's almost, it's like you gamify the adversity to where you rise to the challenge and it becomes fun to work at it. Even though you suck, you're like, I kind of looked at it this way where I allow myself to kind of have an out of body experience almost. You become a third person and you look at your own adversity, and it kind of helps me work through it. And honestly, like prayer is like a big part of that too. 'Cause you're like bouncing ideas off of God and you're communicating with the dude that like created you. And then you're also getting this third person view into your life. And then you start to like gamify the adversity, and then you can work through it. Maybe not easier, but you are able to strategize, and strategizing becomes the fun part, like you were saying.
Yeah. I think like story, I made a video about this one time, but like being a storyteller is the ultimate life hack, because anything that gets thrown your way, you're like, nice, plot stick. Like
so
what next for my character, And like I always think about like the hero's journey and just all these story archetypes are like, it's just not a good story, and everything's kind of boring if like nothing goes wrong. So I'm always just like, ooh, what next? Like when things start going poorly, because I know it's going to be a great story and I trust myself as the main character to like come out on top,
You do such a good job of that, by the way, of now sharing that story. Like you share your adversity in such a entertaining way. Like you really do make yourself, and it's not even it's not a narcissistic thing that you do by making yourself the main character, right? You're just genuinely sharing what you're doing, and then it becomes entertaining for everybody else to watch.
Wow, thank you.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm very honored by that.
Yeah. No, that's a genuine compliment. Not even for the show. Like,
Wow. No, thank you, Ben. That's very kind of you to say.
of course. I think it's important to like share those things with each other for those listening, whenever it comes to mind, honestly. And especially like being in community with people and being friends. There's a difference between glazing people and offering genuine encouragement. So just for everybody listening, if you have an encouragement for somebody, do it, say it, tell them, because I think it really helps.
Yeah, like never keep a good thing to yourself. Like share.
Amen.
That's very kind. Thank you.
Of course. Okay, so you mentioned in your video and kind of at the beginning of this call, fun is your competitive advantage.
Oh yeah.
So, can you break that down just a little bit technically? So technically, how is it the competitive advantage? How do you have the leg up on somebody else that doesn't necessarily know how to do what we've been talking about? Yeah.
I mean, I think that I structure like a lot of my content around like who is on the other side. Like I have like a little sass undertone, and I know that like where I'm kind of like, sucks. Like sucks if you're a doomer, or like sucks if you think this. Like, and so that video, like the villain in the story is kind of like the hustle and grind bro.
Yeah.
Who like thinks that you have to like live life as this like punishment and like sees discipline as kind of like you have to hate your life in order to love it later. Right. And I just will never subscribe to you have to hate life right now to love it later because like you are not promised later. And
so true.
I'm not promised tomorrow. So like, yes, I'm always thinking long game. I'm like, I feel like I've trained myself to think long game. And because I can think long game, I know that things are going to inevitably suck. And yes, I'm going to have to be disciplined sometimes, but like, it is not, the goal is, I don't want to suffer to be successful. Like I want to look back on the journey and be like, wow, that was so fun. Being here is like actually nothing compared to how fun it was to get here.
Yeah.
And so discipline is just showing up consistently for something that you care about. And I think that we've warped it into being like, you have to get up and punish yourself and make it miserable for yourself in order to actually reap the benefits of something hard. But like, how can you take something hard and reframe it to be this like really enjoyable, fun journey? Because you know how it contributes to the long term, you know?
Yeah.
And why it's a competitive advantage is like, if you are punishing yourself every day and you're doing something that you hate and you're doing something that you hate for the wrong reasons, kind of like you're going to burn out. Like you're going to, we haven't talked about that. I think that's like a big part of this is like people, I don't think I've ever hit true burnout because I know what fuels me creatively is fun and novelty and joy and people. And I cannot keep myself away from that aspect of my life and creativity. So if you're going to constantly punish yourself with your own life, of course you're going to burn out. Yeah. But that's my competitive advantage. Like I'm going to do this forever because it's the best thing in the world to me, you know?
Well, and you're not going to want to come back to it because it wasn't fun to begin with and you didn't acknowledge the fun parts, and so then you're just clouded by all the bad parts anyway.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, you are just like you're just a person and a kid at heart, and you're going to come back to the things that make you feel good and that you love and make you feel good about living. And so how can you make those things some sort of like long-term goal, even when they are like not fun, that you're excited to still come back to because you know, oh, like I love this journey, you know?
Yeah, it's so funny because you basically flip the script on the whole hustle culture because it feels like you're working for the long game, but you're really working for the short game, where the way that you're explaining it is you have the vision of the long game and you already see that in the long game, the short game of hustle doesn't work. And so then you come back to the short game and you're like, okay, so actually, instead of worrying so much about the future, I'm just going to stay content and stay happy and joyful in the present.
That's a great observation. You just flipped it on its head, and that's exactly right. It's like, I can have fun because this is it's how long can I play the game? Like, how good can I get at the game? And not ever like, oh, let me just win this one battle so that I can like retire and never have to work again. Like, that's a miserable to me, you know?
Right. And you just lose yourself in the process too, to where you don't even have any inspiration to do things that you love because you don't even know what you love.
Yeah. And I think like I had a friend send me the other day this diagram of this little puzzle, and like there's multiple ways you can rearrange this little puzzle, and there's this one little gap in it. And the guy who was, making the video or speaking was like, you want to leave this little gap for like wonder. And if you rearrange your life in like a specific, perfect kind of way, you can actually like leave space in the middle to just like wonder and roam and let things kind of come to you and like allow room for like serendipity. Like I honestly hope that, I make all these plans and I encourage people to wreck them in good ways. And I hope that people kind of wreck my perfect like 5-year North Star plan, because it's always better than what I had in mind,
Always. Yeah. You never quite know. Only God knows your potential and knows where you can really go. So to basically build up an identity outside of that kind of like screws you over in the long run, because you lose out on so much that you could have had.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I can't agree more. Truly. Yeah. I think I'm doing nothing of what I thought I would be doing a couple years ago.
Oh, me neither, girl. I never thought I would be sitting in this chair talking to you on the phone, being recorded and then posting it. No shot.
Yeah. That's the coolest thing about life ever, is like, you never know also like when you first meet someone, like how they will continue to show up in life and how like your relationship or friendship will continue to evolve. Like the first time we ever hung out, you were like, I have these cookies and we need to shoot some photos.
So true. I forgot about that photo shoot. Oh my God.
I wanted to be a YouTuber, and I was making a video called "This is the Best Week Ever."
And that was a part of it. It was a fun shoot. Yeah.
Guys, best week ever. Like, sure,
And now you look back and you're like, there have been so many better weeks, but that was still a really good week.
But I love that I thought that was the best week ever, because it was.
It was at that time, yeah. Yeah. It was. Well, I want to do something. So normally I usually like hang up and then I end the podcast, but honestly, I'm just going to end the podcast with you on it because it's such a good conversation. I want to like help anybody who's listening to identify how they could maybe view things differently or make some changes to try to have a little bit more fun in life and work life. So I have things right here that I've kind of written down, questions to kind of ask yourself, and I definitely want your input. So chime in, please. Guys, yeah. So questions I think we should ask ourselves if we're wanting to figure out how to have more fun is, first, how do you have fun? Kind of identify, list out ways that you find joy in life, whether it's as simple as walking on a beach or like seeing a sunset, or hanging out with friends, playing a board game, or just in work. How do you have fun? How do you find joy in life? And then what work do you find enjoyable? Like I was just saying, I think like identifying that is important. And then why are you not having fun in your career now if you don't enjoy it? Like if you're looking to change careers, or if you're just confused about the one you're in. And then I also think that you should find people in your life like Alaina who like they seem at least to be enjoying what they're doing and having fun through it all, and then see if you can ask them questions, because I think it's important to understand the people that are not necessarily by all means have it all figured out. Alaina would say the same thing. But I think just understanding this person is on that journey and they most likely have things to offer, perspectives to offer that could help me as well. I don't know. I think it's just all about being inquisitive at the end of the day. Like if you're wanting to change something. Would you agree, Alaina?
Yeah. I mean, I've learned a ton by just looking at people whose lives I admire and being like, oh, it's because they're doing something that they just absolutely live and breathe and love, that it doesn't feel like work. It's just this whole life experience. And yeah, I have 2 popped into my head to add maybe to the list.
Yeah, Adam, please.
I think the first one is like very simple, but like, is it that deep? You know, like when things come up, it's like, oh, am I taking this a little too seriously? Like, can I zoom out and realize that this is like, it feels very reactive for me right now, and that's fine. But like, when I zoom out in 5 years, it's just not going to matter. And therefore, like, it's okay. And then I've been thinking a lot about, like, if I stopped trying to be impressive to other people, how would I show up? And because I think that's still something that I'm like, well, I want people to think that I'm good. And it's like, actually, no, like going back to the first thing I said on our call is like, no, if I stop trying to do it like the professional, impressive way, it actually is so much more aligned with like who I am and like what I want to do. So I would ask, like, if I stop trying to be impressive, like what would be the next step, or how would I show up?
Yeah, that's
What
so
do you
good.
think?
No, I totally agree. I think both are so valid. Being impressive is important to a certain extent, right? You want to be professional. You want to, if you're selling a product, if you're like on a team that's selling a product, or you're working to make a creative strategy happen, then you want to be professional, right? In all elements. But I think what you're more so talking about is, are you able to mess up and then quickly get back on the horse? Or are you so afraid of messing up that if you mess up, try to hide it as much as possible?
Yeah. Or it's like, are you doing certain things in your career just to like prove something to someone else, rather than like genuinely feeling good about that direction?
Right. Because
like my other translation.
Yeah. Because so many people even get into a career that they don't even enjoy just to prove that they're meant to be there to somebody else. Yeah. So true. A lot of questions, guys. A lot of questions to ask yourself. But it's
sorry to throw so many on you.
Watch it back if you need, to listen to it again, and need to like write that list of questions down. But I think being curious and inquisitive is the best place to be. I don't think you should ever stop being that or doing that. Yeah. Agreed. That's it for today, honestly. Thank you so much for coming on and talking, Alaina. I think your perspectives are so important, and I'm so glad we got to record this and share them.
I'm beaming. Like I'm smiling so big. Thank you so much, Ben, for phoning me in.
Of course.
Yeah, this was such a great convo.
I agree. I totally agree. You're making me think that I need to do FaceTimes now, but I'm like, no, keep it analog. It's good. It's a good concept.
I'm off the plane in my PJs in this hotel. So
True. You're more reachable this way.
Exactly. I guess so.
I love it. Well, have fun in New York. Crush it as you always do. Have fun, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Talk to you later. Oh, that was such a fun episode with Alaina. Yeah, that's it. And remember, guys, you're created to create, so do something about it. See ya.
You're listening to the Created to Create show.